I want you guys to come, each of you, and take a handle. Pick out a handle. Yep, choose your handle from the basket. After you have chosen your handle, I want each of you to, guys, listen to me. I want each of you to pick out a whelk shell for the head. I want you each to pick one of those shells inside to use for the head of your hammer.
This one.
Oh, no,
Oh,
Richard does one.
oh, here we go. This one.
At least one. That's what Richard do. My home does also. All right, guys, make sure everybody picks out a head. Which head? All right, you got one you would like to use? All right, guys, here's how this is going to work.
This one.
Now, guys, let me show you something. What you're trying to do, what I want to do, this is the hammer that I made. I want you guys to take this hammer and pass it around. Take a look and see how this is made. Go ahead, take it, pass it around. Okay. Now, guys, if you will look, what you will see is, look at the shell for a minute, and this is very important. Guys, this shell has on it a part right here, and it has a part right here. Now, the hammers that you make can be made with either one hole or two. The two hole is more stable. You can see that one that's right there is two holes. If you make it with two holes, here's what you've got to do. Go ahead and take your whelk shell and look at it for a minute. Guys, look on the inside here where there's the opening. Do you see how there's like a part where it curves around? In order to put a stick through that, you'd have to cut through 4 or 5 layers of shell because you've got one here, one on the inside. What you're trying to do if you use two holes is this. You're trying to make the two holes. Look, this is kind of hard to see, but look at here. You want to make one here, and then you want to make one straight on the top right here. See where I've got my fingers? You want a straight line in this hollow part. You see how this hollow part, you only got 2 holes you've got to make. You got one right here and one right here. Now, guys, in theory, you could also make one like this. You could just take and you could make one hole right through the top right there, and you could push this part down here. I'll tell you this much, though. If you do that, you want to wrap the head with a little bit of sinew, because if you don't wrap it with sinew, it may come apart. It may fall apart. The 2 holes will stay together with nothing else. The one hole is a little faster to make, but it's not as stable. You have to wrap that with sinew. This kind of hammer that has 2, you don't need any sinew because you've got the thing through both of them. Now, you can make whichever one you prefer, but either way, here's what you do. If you're making 2 holes, here's what you do. You take your stick and you put it right here and you measure right through here. You figure, okay, what direction will this stick go? And then what you do is, and this is where this gets kind of tough, you've got to eyeball it. What you've got to do is you've got to break the hole right here and right here, not through here where it's on the other side. You've got to break one right up here where you have a stick that will go on the outside of this part right here. What you're trying to do is get your stick right through this part, right up here. You see where I'm talking about?
So it's on the outside like this?
Yeah, exactly. It's on the outside of that whorl.
So it goes in it, so there's like this much in between it?
Yeah, let me show you how you do this. This is the way it'll make it a little bit easier. Your hammer stone. And here's what you do. Just like you did with the shell scraper. You take, is this your stone? Set this here. You take your stone and dip it in the water. Make sure you get it good and wet. And then, guys, you do the same thing. With this, you take this and you wet the outside part of the shell. This one, dip the whole thing down in the water. Go ahead and dip it. And guys, if you start to run low on water, let me know and I'm going to refill these bowls.
I need low on water.
All right. And I think we might need some here too. All right, pass me the bowls. Now, guys, it's the same thing. You dip your shells and your stones both down in this bowl of water.
Are we smoothing it?
Nope. First, you're not smoothing this, guys. This one's a little different. The way you do this is this. This is why it's called a hammer stone. You take, dip this in there, make sure you keep the shell wet, and then, guys, you take this part right here. Let me step back here. The same spot. What you're trying to do, guys, is to get this to start. But what you want to do is you get a hole through the edge like this. Is the point on your phone? Oh, you have a point on your rock? Yep. You can use that or you can use a curve, whichever seems the best. Whatever it takes to make your tool work, we're going to do it.
Is it better to put it on the mat and try it?
Sometimes it might help you a little bit. Talking about?
I'm almost there. Watch this.
Real good. Now, smooth.
3 more tries.
You're using the drill stuff. You want to use your hammer stone. The hammer stone will make it easier to bust through. But Yeah, exactly. That's because you're using, that is the drill stone. You want to use the hammer stone until you bust through. Guys, there's a big difference. Let me show you. Listen to me again, guys. Hold on a minute. If you guys are having problems busting through, let me tell you something. This little tiny thing like this, or the end of this like this is a drill stone. This is what you drill with. You don't use that to break. You see what Alex is using? You see how he's got that great big rounded end? That's what you bust through. Exactly. Like this right. What's your name, bud? Taylor. You see how Alex and Taylor have theirs? That rounded end is what you use to bust through. You don't use this end. Yep. Go for it. Oh! Yep, that is a good hammer stone. That is one of the finest of the hammer stones we have here. And that's what would have been a valuable trade item.
There is a fire card and a nice card. Also worth it to sell it.
You wait for an extra run. Yeah, carve your stick.
They have classes, so they have the campus.
Okay. Oh, see my hammer? Oh yeah, I got it.
And that you smooth. This part right here, you held this in your hand like this, and you went with this end to use for a hammer. And this part right here, you dug in the dirt with like that to use as a digging tool. So, Mr. Alex, your tool, sir. You have finished yours. All right, guys. Everybody can do it. You see, it's not that difficult to do. It just takes a little time and a little practice.